In the story of Abraham, which I covered in video 3 and 4, we learn about Hagar, Abraham and Sarah's servant. For many years, Sarah was unable to have a child, and as the years passed and Sarah remained childless, Abraham and Sarah's doubt increased. They doubted they would ever have a child. Since Sarah wasn't getting pregnant, Sarah told Abraham to have a relationship with Hagar. He does, and Hagar gives birth to Ishmael. Abraham was God's guy, the man God called and blessed, the man God showed grace to over and over again. Both the Old and New Testament record that Abraham believed God and God declared him righteous. But as I've shared in the last two videos, this man of God was not so perfect. Not only does Abraham have relations with his servant out of his own doubt and fear that God would come through, this man of God also does something very hurtful and very unkind, particularly for his day. After Abraham and Sarah's son, Isaac, is born, Sarah does not want Ishmael to have a share in Abraham's inheritance. She wants it all to go to Isaac. So she convinces Abraham to kick Hagar and Ishmael out. This is cruel and selfish in itself, but these are the days of male-dominated societies, when women were completely dependent upon the provision and protection of men. When Abraham kicks Hagar out, she was completely vulnerable. The Bible says Abraham sent them off with some food and water. Hagar wandered in the desert. When the water was gone, she put the boy under a bush and sat away from him, for she thought, I cannot watch the boy die. And she sat there, and she began to sob. Hagar did not know what to do. She got to a place where she just sat and sobbed. Ishmael was crying. Hagar was crying. But God heard the boy crying, and the angel of God called to Hagar from heaven and said to her, What is the matter, Hagar? Do not be afraid. Sound familiar? Do not be afraid. God has heard the boy crying as he lies there. Lift the boy up and take him by the hand, for I will make him into a great nation. Don't be afraid, Hagar. Put on your big girl pants and get moving. I will bless Ishmael. And God kept his promise to bless Abraham's line, and so he blesses the line of Ishmael as well. This becomes a whole other story of human history. But this is a common story in human history. You will get hurt, and it hurts the worst when it's those who are closest to you. It hurts the worst when it's a family member or a friend. It hurts when it's the people of God who are committed to love and faith and kindness. I did not grow up going to church, and I must confess that I first decided to go into ministry when I was a teenager, in part because I thought the people of faith were among the safest people to work with, because I had a few unsafe people in my life when I was growing up. When I first went into ministry, someone said, You know, Scott, it will be the friendly fire that will kill you. They were saying those closest to you will hurt you the most. It's the arrows from those who are in your camp that will sting the most. Well, it didn't take me too long to figure out they were right. It's those who are closest to us who will help us the most and be there for us the most and will love us the most. But those closest to us will also hurt the most. Most people's deepest hurt has come from a family member, a friend, a person of faith. Abraham was a man of faith, and he does something very hurtful and wrong to his own son and the mother of his child. Imagine the rejection Hagar and Ishmael must have felt. But God is with Hagar. Don't be afraid, Hagar. I am with you. God comforts and blesses and restores Hagar and Ishmael. And at the same time, God remains quite gracious to Abraham and fulfills his promise to Abraham. Why? Why does God stick with Abraham? Because God is a gracious and loving God. He did it for them, and he'll do it for you. Were you hurt by someone? A friend, a family member, a person of faith, a righteous man? Did it hurt so much that it has affected your faith? It prevents you from engaging in a community faith or even going to church at all. God is with you. He will heal the hurt, bless and restore you. He will give you the courage and strength to forgive. And your story of God's healing and blessing and restoration will be a testimony of God's love and grace to others, just as both Abraham's and Hagar's story has been an encouragement for a few thousand years. God hears your cries and says, Get up, don't be afraid, stop using the hurt as an excuse to stay away from me. Stop using it as an excuse to live in your anger and misery. I have something for you. I will restore and bless. Because having a relationship with God makes a difference. So may your relationship with God make a difference in your life today.